Hi, and welcome to the Gagootz Show on Madhouse TV. Tonight, our special guests are John Blenn and Melvin Garlic. We also have a special video from Frank's Waiting Room. And now, here are your hosts, Benny Rizzuti and Nicole DeMonico.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I can't
Ever
just
since
do
then.
it. I have to start. I need in the Honeymooners when every time Norton was playing a song, he had to start with way down upon the Swanee with Alfred Hitchcock. I can't just do the voice. I have to say, when we first started filming the shower scene in Psycho, and that's how I get into the voice of Alfred Hitchcock. You're watching the Gagootz Show.
And we're on the clock.
And we're on the clock. We've got an hourglass.
Yay!
Auntie M, please.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah.
I always remember the hourglass in The Wizard of Oz, right?
That's why I wanted one. I bought one actually at HomeGoods, like when I first got my apartment. I said, I need an hourglass. I saw it. It was on sale for $7.99. And I was like, I need to own this. And now it sits in my little shelf. And I never use it.
Yeah, but you needed to
But
own
I
it.
needed to have it.
Let me ask you a question. You mentioned the Honeymooners before.
Yes.
Is it just me, like, everyone loves that show, right?
Right.
How can we only watch it on New Year's Eve? Is it? When did that tradition start?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I have the DVDs, because I love the show. But I still wait for New Year's Eve to watch it.
You don't
me
watch
too.
your DVDs.
New Year's Eve, you watch that and you watch The Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone's okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Good thing Nicole's over here. I'd jump right over this desk
Sorry.
right now and pounce on it.
Wow.
I was more of a Are You Afraid of the
When
Dark?
we film the shower scene in
I feel like I'm actually in the Twilight Zone.
in the Twilight Zone. Today I was feeling like that. I was in a very Benny mood today.
A Benny mood?
A Benny mood, which
Okay.
means I'm not a morning person. I'm very.
I'm not a morning person. I'm barely a person.
I'm like that all day.
And I was like that all day. I was very. And I thought of the Twilight Zone, and I thought of that famous episode where what's his name? Can't think of the actor. Burgess Meredith he liked to read. He got all the books, and he was going to read all these books. Everybody died from a nuclear explosion. They were all dead, and he's at a library figuring out the books he's going to read through. This is like this year, next year, and then he breaks his glasses.
Yeah.
You know that one?
I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
Well, that's
No.
a famous one. He breaks his glasses at the end. He's crying because now he can't read, and there's no people around. He can't read. I would be happy if you broke my glasses and there were no people. Because if I read, it would only remind me of how stupid most people are.
That's true.
Except for the people watching this show, of course.
Yes, of course.
Because we have a very intelligent demographic.
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
We're the World Wide Web.
Oh, that's what WWW stands
Don't
for.
watch
Oh,
it.
now it all makes sense.
The Gagootz Show on the World Wide
That was funny.
Web.
Hush you. Anyway, how was everybody's week?
It was really good.
I think I just told you.
Well, besides you, Nicole,
My week was pretty good. I was in a mosh pit for Slipknot and Korn up in Boston, which was fun. It has nothing to do with comedy, but it kicked butt, and I liked it. What else? We have our show at the Villa coming up on Friday.
Yeah.
we are almost sold out.
Almost sold out. We got 83 people.
Wow.
So, yeah.
83?
83.
So 2 more since
Two
this
more,
morning.
right?
2 more.
Wow!
Oh, you'll be sold out. You
Yeah,
will.
I hope so.
And Madhouse TV has their Christmas party
Yes.
this Saturday
At Jewel.
at Jewel.
At 6 o'clock, and it's going to be a ton of people there. It's going to be an awesome party. It's on 110, I believe, in Melville, and it's going to be a blast. You guys should come. I'm going to be there. Benny's going to be there.
I'm going to be coming up.
He's
going to
be showing up a little later with his wife, Nancy.
His wife, Nancy.
There's going to be, I'm also in a play for Scrooge's Dream. The entire cast is also going to be there. You should come. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, there's going to be all kinds of performers, real surprise performers, and the tickets are $25, right? And that includes food and it goes from 6 to I don't know how
10,
late.
I believe, right?
But
11.
it's a cash bar, 6 to 11. It's a cash bar, but the food is included in the price. Come on, and the entertainment is going to be
top notch.
top notch.
Jinx, you owe me $1,000.
And tonight's show is also top notch. We have two great guests, and very interesting. Two of the most interesting guests we've had, Melvin Garlic and John Blenn.
I have a very funny story about John Blenn. I was going to talk about it later, but I might as well. First time I met John Blenn, he was in the audience at a show that you and me were both. Nicole, you were on the show at the brokerage.
Yeah.
And he wrote an article about the show.
At Keegan's birthday bash.
Keegan's big birthday bash, yes. And I read what he wrote about me. It was good, don't worry. He's like, he got good responses on his interesting take on goth chicks, Randy Newman impressions, and weight loss. That's my niche. I found my identity. Thank you, John Blenn.
John Blenn. But when John Blenn comes on later, you'll understand what I meant by saying he's one of our interesting, very interesting guests. And you know Mel Garlic as well.
Yes, I do.
I just met him about maybe a little less than a month ago at Sip This. It was not an open mic, but it was a little
coffee shop.
Yeah, coffee shop gig. It was
Joe
fun.
Pontillo runs that.
Yeah.
Oh, he does, yeah. There are still coffee houses around. Well, there's the Bean, yeah.
You know, actually, last week I went to an open mic at the Babylon Bean.
Oh, that one by the train station over there?
It's close to the train station, yes. Me and Eric Haft went down just to check it out because I never been there before.
It's down that little side street.
Yes, Fire Island Road.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about.
It was cool.
Fire Island Road, yeah.
Yes. I had a good time. Yeah.
A lot of people.
The room was packed. Mostly it was other people that were trying to do the thing. It wasn't a typical open mic, a comedy open mic. It was like one of those mixed mics where it's like music, poetry, people with bongos.
They could be fun sometimes.
They can be, yeah.
Snapping.
But I always just feel like the white elephant in the room when it's mostly musicians. And I'd make a fat joke about that, but I'm still writing it.
I used to perform at a cabaret below the Theater 3 in Port Jeff. And it was a cabaret that Dan Wilson was the MC at the time. And we could have anybody. And one time we had a guy reading Shakespeare before I went up.
Oh.
And he's reading Macbeth or what, and he's very serious reading it. So now I'm going to follow this guy.
But why?
So because that's the way it was. So when I got up there, I said I want to thank him. I said his name for reading Shakespeare. And I said, now I would like to read my favorite scene from my favorite book, The Godfather. And I took the mic cord, I put it around my neck, and I went, and I just dropped dead on the stage. How do you follow Shakespeare?
That's funny. That's really.
How do you follow Shakespeare? I said, because I read Luca Brasi. I said, sleeps with the fishes.
That's the funniest thing I've ever heard you say.
Oh, thanks. Wow.
That should be in your act. Is it? No, it's not, is it?
Yeah, but I have material for my act, and then I have
material
things
for real life.
And then I have things I remember.
Yeah.
So if I remember that, I will use that in my act if the moment's right. You got to feel you got to feel the crowd.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we have a big show. We got an action pack. We're going to go to a video of another Frank's Waiting Room. If you remember Frank Scafuri, who was here a few weeks ago, we're going to go to Frank's Christmas in July, and then we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our first guest, Mel Garlic. Woo! You're watching the Gagootz Show on Madhouse TV. Woo!
It's so hot in here. You should have air conditioning here. I don't feel it. It's too hot. You know, 50 years ago. What's your name?
Marlon.
Marvin. I'm Frank. Have you ever been in the service?
No, I haven't.
50 years ago, I was a sailor. I was stationed in Hawaii. It was so hot there, and it was Christmas Eve. Could you believe it? Christmas Eve. It was so hot. So I had to get off the ship. Have you ever been on a ship?
I have.
Yeah. Well, I got off the ship, I went to the mainland, and I found this nightclub. On the stage was the most beautiful Hawaiian dancer you have ever seen. She was amazing. Her name was Leilani. Leilani. Oh, it was wonderful. I fell in love. I fell in love, Leilani. I vowed to her, I said, Leilani, one day, no matter how hot it is, I'm coming back for you here. But I never went back. I never went back. But the beauty is, I can see her up here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whenever I want to. Melekalikimaka is the thing to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's the island greeting that they send to you in the land where palm trees sway. Here the island greeting will be clean and bright, the sun to shine by day and oh, the stars by night. Melekalikimaka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas to you. And she was hot.
Here we know that Christmas will be green and bright, the sun to shine by day and all the stars at night. Melekalikimaka is Hawaii's way to say Merry Christmas to you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with the one and only Madhouse TV.
You are the man.
And we're back with our first guest, Melvin Garlic. Welcome to coming to the show tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent.
Pleasure to be here.
Welcome. Now, Melvin, you are, do you mind if I call you Melvin or Mel?
No, not
Mel.
a problem.
Mr.
Most
Garlic?
everyone calls
Mel.
me Mel, and then they
No, Mel,
crack
I-
about my last name, Garlic, but
Garlic is a great name. I mean, we're Italian, so
Yeah,
we
we
love
love garlic.
we love garlic.
I think I ate too much of it, actually.
You can never eat enough garlic. You know,
That's
it's good
true.
for your
That's
heart.
true.
It's great. Garlic
Right.
is good.
keeps the vampires away.
That's true.
But Italian, would it keep Italian vampires away?
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
Good question.
Yeah. Now, you're very interesting because you perform stand-up, but you also work in the criminal justice system.
Yes, I do.
You do.
I had a long career in the criminal justice system.
Are you still involved?
Well, right now I started in corrections. I worked for the New York City Department of Correction. I had a 20-year career there. I left there after 20 years, and I had 3 young daughters that needed to go to college, so I got another job. And so I worked for the feds for 5 years as a background investigator for the government, for the federal government.
Yeah?
Or the
So you-
TSA guys, they had to see me first.
Really?
Right, yes.
You're
yes.
So a top secret.
Yeah, I did all of that stuff. It was like, what's that movie? The Fluckers or whatever.
Oh, sneakers?
No,
Meet the Fockers?
Meet the.
Oh,
yeah.
meet the Fockers.
Yeah. I was like,
I was going to say, you having 3 daughters, their boyfriends must love you.
Oh yes. I had to give them a pedigree before they took them out. Give me your ID card, where you live, drop them off at home, drop my gun on the floor. Oh, excuse me. You know.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
You ever do anything like give them a drink and then save the glass for their
Sure,
DNA and
sure.
everything?
Write down your name and address here and dust it. You know.
What
That's
made
it.
you come from criminal justice to stand-up comedy? Where did that...
Well, I reached a stage in my life. I always tell my wife I was going through midlife crisis. Better me holding another mic than a woman. I don't know. But no, it's just that I always wanted to be in entertainment. I always wanted to go into acting or something like that. But raising a family, I needed something consistent. And so I got into law enforcement. It was consistent. I was able to raise my family comfortably, send them to school, and I coached basketball, so I didn't have a lot of spare time. And so once my girls finished school, I said I had a lot of spare time, and I started comedy, and I just got hooked. So I've been doing it since.
Do you have to be careful what you say in your material? Like you can't really talk about your past experiences. Or...
Well, I do. They always encourage me to talk about it. So I'm starting to write material about my career in corrections, and I'm a defense investigator now. I work on the other side, and so I do a lot of material on that also.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah,
You know, it's like you go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. So
you
I
had a
enjoy.
couple of questions you wanted to ask him.
Are you Batman?
I wish.
Me too. Not that you were Batman, that I was Batman.
We're Batman fans. We're
Yeah.
big-
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Dark Knight. You know.
The Dark Knight and Detective Comics.
Right,
He was a
right.
great detective.
Yeah, he was.
We're
I love
talking
it.
about him like
I-
he's a real guy. What?
Batman a detective?
Yeah.
He is. He has to investigate.
Well, yeah, but
He
I mean,
investigates crimes.
he was associated with what's the word I'm looking for? The commissioner. And
Yeah.
the commissioner did all the work, and Batman just got the signal to be like, all right, it's time, man. It's time to come.
Is that what you think?
In
He
real
got
life.
this- and he came in like what? Like the bullfighter? All right, take care of it.
It's time to take care of business.
Well, in real life, the commissioner doesn't do anything.
No.
Can you say that?
Sure.
All right.
Commissioner.
I don't want anyone coming in here and taking you away.
No, but you have an upcoming marathon event that's going to be taking place.
Yes, I'll be performing January 3rd at the Metropolitan Room in Manhattan. 6 p.m. is my slot. But it's a marathon for the Guinness World Book of Records for the longest run variety show. 60 hours.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's running from January 1st, 7 p.m. to January 4th, 7 a.m. 60 straight hours of just, well, comedy. It's a variety show. It's going to be the longest, so we're going for the record.
Wait a minute. You got to explain this to me. 60 hours?
Of entertainment.
Of entertainment. But, like, you're not performing for 60 hours.
I'm doing a 15-minute set on the 3rd. So we're going to break 2 records. The longest run variety show and the show with the most entertainers. They have most performers. 250 performers, 25 MCs.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I hope you have 60 hours worth of material.
I'll be Batman then, really.
Yeah.
You thought he was going to be doing.
Like, what are you going to talk about for 60 hours?
It's going to be, tickets are $25 for a day pass and $60 for the 3-day pass, and it's going to be broadcast globally on TV.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's going to be a
That's
great
awesome.
event. Yeah, it's going to be a great event. It's at the Metropolitan Room in Manhattan. I don't remember the address, but
That's now the $25 for a day pass. Is that 24 hours?
yeah, that's 24 hours, and you get to stay around the clock. It's in 2 rooms, so you have the lounge and then you have the main room upstairs. It's a beautiful room, very very elegant room.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. And there's going to be.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet you are.
Yes.
And now you also have you have a TV. You have your own comedy variety TV show.
Yes, I co-produce and host the Big Cheese Comedy Experience. It comes on Queens Public Access TV. We use the studio in Flushing, and we have a weekly show that comes on Sundays and Thursday, and it's a comedy show. I feature certain stand-ups, and then we close it out with a musical act. And I also do a version of a talk show on there. So we're getting back into the studio. We're finding a new location because we want to actually shoot it.
What's the name of the show?
It's the Big Cheese Comedy
Big
Experience.
Cheese Comedy.
You can go on YouTube and see some clips.
And it's on Sundays and Thursdays.
Sunday and Thursday.
What time?
On Sunday, it comes on at 1:30. And on Thursday, it comes on at 4:30 p.m. But it only is in Queens.
Well, we're worldwide, so people in Queens might be watching your show.
Yes.
And we have a clip of yours. I didn't mention. We have a small, like a 2 minutes of your material.
My
Very
stand-up.
funny. Your stand-up.
Yes,
Very funny. Now we're going to take a break, and we're going to take a break. Then we're going to go to your video.
I'm here for my doctor appointment.
Really?
I'm sorry, sir. I think you have the wrong office.
No, my doctor appointment. The doctor said I should come at Christmas time. I don't know why he tells me to come at Christmas time. I mean, after all, I do celebrate Hanukkah. It's me, Hanukkah. But I have to admit, I love Christmas. Oh, I love the lights. I love the Christmas trees. And I love the music. The music is wonderful. There is this one song they play all the time on the radio. What is the name of that song? You know the name of that. No, you don't know. You don't know the name. No. It's just hear those sleigh bells ringling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Giddy yap, let's go, let's look at the show. We're riding in a wonderland of snow. Giddy yap, it's grand, just holding your hand. We're gliding along with a song of a wintry fairyland. Just hear those sleigh bells ringling, ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together.
and a very Merry Christmas with you. I'll be back.
Frank Scafuri. Frank, come here, Frank. Merry Christmas. Thanks for dropping by.
Merry
The
Christmas.
Gagootz Show.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Happy-
Christmas, everybody.
Don't knock that over. And now we're going to go to a real video of Mel Garlic, and then we're going to take a break. You're watching The Gagootz Show on Madhouse TV.
Please clap for Mel Garlic. Clap for Mel.
All right, how's everyone doing? Wonderful looking audience, great audience. Give yourself a nice round of applause for supporting Live Comedy. That's right. I'm looking around. There's a beautiful array of people here, and I like people. But it bothers me when people brag about famous celebrity family members of theirs or people they know. But hell, I got famous celebrity family members. They appeared on many episodes of the Jerry Springer Show. And then you get these people that brag about all the stuff they grew up with, like they had a silver spoon in their mouth. I grew up very poor. I'm not ashamed of it, but I was fortunate enough to have had 2 TVs. One with sound and one with picture. Yeah, it would have been even more fortunate if I had it at the same time. Like I said, I do like people, but it's complicated. I'm biracial, so it's a little confusing because people are always making comments like, those people are always late. You guys know what I'm talking about over there. It's that CP time, color people time. Or they say, those people got good credit. Most of you know what I'm talking about. It's a CP thing, a Caucasian people thing. Listen, I am those people. Stop hating. I'm usually late for work, but I pay my bills on time. Thank you. Yeah, but it's like living in an ever-evolving state of contradiction. It's confusing. Because, yeah, that's what I said. You okay over here? Because, listen, I got rhythm, I could dance, but I can't bounce a ball and run at the same time. That's right. And I'm not quite 9 inches, but I'm more than 3.
Please clap for Mel Garlic. Clap for Mel.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with the one and only Madhouse TV.
You are the man.
I'm Tommy Marr. I'm down in St. Bart's having a good time.
A lot of people at this time, they like to go have a little cocktail. But you know what I do? I'm going to watch MadhouseTV.com. You got that right.
And we're back with our very special guest, John Blenn, who, John, you're a professor at Five Towns College. You're a playwright. You're considered a pioneer of original Long Island theater. Mm-hmm. Performed stand-up comedy.
Yep.
Editor of Good Times magazine. Entertainment editor of the Long Island Ear. Had your own magazine, the LIE, yep. Long Island Entertainment. Has starred in films, been in plays. I mean, where do you find the time for all this?
Well, as you can gauge by the gray in the beard, there's been a lot of time put into it. It didn't all happen overnight. It's been a lot of years of doing a lot of different things. But I've never been a particularly good sleeper, so I've always kind of done at least 2 or 3 things at once. It's just been my nature to do it.
Amazing. And now you're a professor, which they call you Professor Hockey Man.
Yeah, hence the hockey jersey. I was going to wear a tuxedo, but when the nor'easter rolled in, I thought, you know what, let's be comfortable, let's be warm, and let's be as dry as we can be. So it changed the plan on it. But yeah, I do actually wear a hockey jersey. I teach at Five Towns College, and I wear a different jersey every single day of class. And I actually tell the students when I start out, because I teach artist management, concert production at Five Towns College, and it's about teamwork. So what says teamwork more than a jersey? Number one. Number two, artwork goes into it, so it's artistic, and so is concert production or artist management, etc. So there's that. And I also teach early in the morning, so they're not going to get me to wear a tuxedo to that either. I'm going to go in and be comfortable. I also love hockey. I mean, I grew up being a huge fan of it and playing when I was a kid, so it all kind of adds up. But I picked up that nickname somewhere along the line. People would come up to me in class and not even actually know my last name and just say, Professor Hockey Man, can I talk to you about booking shows or this or that? So it kind of stuck.
My son is a student at Five Towns,
right.
So he told me about it. And one of his best buddies is one of your students. But,
yeah, I've been there, actually this is the 14th year, just started the 14th year teaching. And the first day I taught was actually September 12th, 2001.
Oh, wow.
And you want to talk about being christened under fire. They told me go in and act like nothing was wrong. The kids needed to regiment and needed to be distracted from what was going on. And I got about 10 minutes into that class, and I thought, what, are you kidding me? At that particular point, we're not talking about any business of school today. We're just trying to make people feel better and feel a little bit more comfortable, and we went from there. So it was an interesting way to start out, but I figured, you know what? It'll never be that difficult to teach on any other day of my life as it would be on the first day, so it just gets easier from there.
Yeah. Well, you wear all those hockey jerseys. Which team is actually your favorite?
I would be an Islander fan.
Okay,
yeah, I grew up with them when I was a kid. When they started out in 1972 here, the nice thing about it was if you were a student, which I was still in high school at that point, you could get $3 tickets for every single game, which meant that you'd go to the whole season for basically under $100, and it worked out pretty well. So
awesome.
Been with them ever since, and finally they're good again, just in time to leave. That figures. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I've been a college professor, but I've constantly changed what I do over the years. I just got back into journalism again, and I've been working for a publication called Live Magazine out here, which a guy by the name of Jim Savali started not long ago, and he reached out to me back in September and asked me to start writing again. And I always kind of felt bad because I always felt that the publications out here never did a particularly good job of covering local talent. You know, you take a daily newspaper out here, and we know who I'm talking about. But they do an interview with Kevin James when his show's going off the air. And the time to do an interview with Kevin James is when it's going on the air on CBS. When he's from Long Island and nobody knows that he has a TV show, they need to pick up ratings, they need to build something. So the opportunity to get back in on a limited basis to help build up the art scene out here again, cover things and be part of that was really very alluring. And having been on the other side of it as well, I've been a playwright for the last 20 years. And a screenwriter as well, and obviously an actor. So the opportunity, knowing what it's like to need more assistance, more help out here, it's nice to be able to give something back by being a writer and being out covering stuff.
Absolutely. Seems like you're all around. You're into everything. That's awesome. I admire everything that you're saying, that you're got your hands into.
Well, I first got into local theater out here as a playwright because actually my wife, Joni, who I've been married to for 22 years, we would go out to shows, and she was always the photographer that was working with me on things. And we had our own publication together from 1997 through 2004. And then I became the general manager of Westbury Music Fair and became a professor, so I had to let something go, and I sold the paper to a guy by the name of Rich Lahamadou, who ironically was one of the people who led the charge on starting the Long Island Music Hall of Fame. And he used the paper to kind of backbone the idea to do that and get momentum going with it, which he was succeeded in doing, and a lot of other people have since come on and done a great job of growing the Long Island Music Hall of Fame, obviously. But while we were doing that paper together, we'd go out to theater, and she go, "Why aren't you writing stuff for this medium?" You know, I wrote screenplays in college. I kind of got away from it and got more into the journalistic area of things. But she said, "You know what? I think that you probably could write something this funny. Why don't you go out and do it?" So I wrote my first play I actually wrote my first two plays early in 1995. Took them to two different theaters. One of them said, "I think you need to rewrite 90% of it." The other one, the stage over in Merrick, said, "Yeah, let's do this in August. Let's put it on the boards right now." And then a couple of days later, they said, "Can you direct?" It's like, "Well, I did a little in college, sure." "Oh, great." A couple of days later, they called up and, "Can you put together your own cast?" Yeah. And they're like, "Well, we'll just move things along faster." And then on the closing night of it, the guy who owned the place came up to me and said, "Oh my God, that was really funny." And it suddenly dawned on me, I'm not really sure they ever read it or looked at it. They just figured I was the editor of a paper and that I draw people. So if you have value at selling tickets, it doesn't really matter whether you stink or not, just as long as you sell tickets. So I guess, and by having me direct it and put together my own cast, it's very easy to just go, whoa, that was a rental. We had nothing to do with that. That wasn't our idea. So we were kind of quarantined a little bit at that point from being part of the gang. But it worked out okay, because what it did was it got us rolling at that point, that we've now done 84 productions over the years, worked with a lot of different authors and a lot of new actors that were breaking in for the first time. And it kind of forced us to do our own thing instead of just handing a script over. And what was great about that is we created our own opportunities. We worked at a lot of different places. We kind of did things the way we wanted to do them, and it's all great in the end.
And it's your own production company now.
Yeah, it's called Middle Class American Productions, or MCAP for short. And we are Long Island's only all-original theater company. We'll leave the Neil Simon pieces and the David Mamet pieces to people out here who do great jobs on that.
Oh,
That's
they do.
not what we're about. We do the original stuff. And we actually have a show. Actually, we have two shows coming up. One is on January 11th, and it's at the Belmore Theater. Gary Smith, who used to own the brokerage, booked us in there. And it is our American Dating Catastrophes. It's volume number 13. We've been doing it for 13 years. And it is particularly special to all of us this year. We have a very dear friend who was a charter member with us. He's been my best friend in the world for years. His name is Mark D'Agostino. He is a great, great actor, a tremendously talented sound man that worked on the circuit out here. And he was just diagnosed with lung cancer.
Oh.
And we are going to bat for him to raise some money to help him out, because obviously the charges on that are staggering to be treated and to beat something like that. So we have 12 different pieces that are in it. They're all short pieces written by different writers. We have about 36 actors that are involved with it, and it will be the first of several benefits that we do. He's getting healthy. He swears he's going to be in it and do a part in it, which is exactly what we expect him to do, because he's a fighter, but he's just one of the greatest people I've ever known. He's closer to me than my own flesh and blood brother. Aww. So we got a particularly deep cause to sell it out this year, a very good reason to be doing it. And then right after that, we're actually doing a restaging of Eddie Money's autobiographical musical called 2 Tickets to Paradise, which Eddie's actually in. And we're in the process of changing venues, so I can't tell you exactly where it is, other than that it will be up in January. Awesome. And we'll be announcing that momentarily. And it contains a lot of great hits by Eddie, but it also contains a lot of great songs that he wrote specifically for the play to drive the story and generate it from scene to scene to scene, so it has smooth transitions. It's not a jukebox musical. It's like a Jersey Boys type of autobiographical thing, and it's kind of neat.
Oh, and this is the second time that you've been involved in that project?
We originally did it in 2009 at Five Towns College. And what's kind of neat, the post story on that is we used a 14-year-old kid to play Eddie as a 20-year-old. He was very tall, very poised. His name's Jesse Kinch. And Jesse won the brand new competition show that was on ABC, Rising Star. this year. So he was the very first winner of that out of Seaford.
Wow.
So we have a new guy by the name of Matt Burns this time around, who went to Five Towns College, tremendously talented, has a lot of background in musical theater. He's been great, and have a great cast with that. So we're looking forward to putting that up there.
Cool.
Yeah.
You got so much. I was like, overwhelmed.
I'm sorry if I transition from one thing to another, but it's my nature.
You can't interview John Blenn in one interview.
I know. There's so much.
We have to have you come back to interview because there's so much to cover. I know.
So much to cover.
With writing questions, I was like, well,
we
where do I
didn't
start?
even ask anything. We just let him go. Like, just keep
It's funny that you mentioned. I have a tendency to take off, and I mean the reason I take off like that. Like Ian Anderson, for instance, if you know him from Jethro Tull,
Yes.
I interviewed him many years ago, and I've interviewed Nugent over the years. Those are a couple of those guys that when they put out a new album, it's like, hey, great job on the new album. Did you have a lot of extra songs that you had besides what's on the album? And you're done. They'll take that question and turn it into 45 minutes to an hour of what they want to tell you about the album, the tour, what they're up to, side projects they're working on. So I guess some of that kind of rubbed off on interviews that get to all of it, cover it quickly, and be efficient.
Well, you've done some great interviews. I mean, we could just do a show on you talking about the different people you've interviewed through the years.
It's been really kind of a great thing. A lot of people kind of looked at me and said, why did you stay with the local community newspapers over the years, or the regional arts papers? And the best thing about that is when you work for Rolling Stone, yeah, you have very high visibility, and same thing with Newsday, but they tell you what they want you to write about. By being the entertainment editor at a lot of publications, I got to pick who I wanted to talk to. And I just about never had a publisher or somebody that I worked for say to me, you got to interview this person. So having that kind of carte blanche allowed me to go looking for interesting people, bring the word to the public about what they were doing. I originally wanted to be a radio DJ when I went to Hofstra, and that's what I graduated with a degree in. But looking back, the change that wound up occurring because it was tough finding a radio job at first is the best thing that could have happened to me. Because I wouldn't have had that freedom on radio to play everything I wanted to play, but I had the freedom to be able to cover local and up-and-coming artists and established artists and talk to people around the country. And very rarely did I not get an interview. I mean, now it's much more difficult because if you don't have, an audience of 200,000, you're not going to get a megastar. Then, if you had 25, 40,000 readers, you were going to get anybody if they were doing interviews and making a round. So it was really the golden era of journalism at that point, arts journalism, and I was really blessed to be part of it.
Well, we're having a lot of fun. We have to take a break,
Sure.
And then we're going to come back with John and Melvin Garlic and Stephen Perillo, who we miss very dearly.
We do.
We do. Oh.
We do. We miss him. We love him.
We just, we had to mess around with him. You're watching the Gagootz Show on Madhouse TV with our very special guest, John Blenn, and our very wonderful co-host, Nicole LaMonaco.
We'll be right back.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance. Maybe she needs help with a computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this. You'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue Tequila. Now, mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidiscipline practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
And we're back here on the Gagootz Show with our big red couch on it. We have Melvin Garlic, Stephen Perillo, and Mr. John Blenn. Welcome back, everybody.
Yay.
Stephen, tell us, what were your questions that you had?
Yes, I have some very interesting, a big question. I know that we got the holiday season coming up. Have I been a good boy this year?
Well, that is going to take some serious wrestling, I think. Does that have to be answered today?
I'm sorry. I had to. His white beard with the red and everything. It's so jolly.
Wouldn't be the first time. I actually quit being Santa Claus when I was in my second year of college because a kid got up underneath the Santa Claus beard and got my real beard and was dangling. The kid would not let go and is like swinging like a pendulum.
Oh, no.
Because the Santa Claus that was supposed to come into Modell's didn't show, so I said, all right, fine, I'll do it. After that day, never again.
It's like that Chuck Norris joke. It's like, under Chuck Norris's beard, there's not a chin, it's just another fist. He has another beard.
In that case, I did. Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
Do you have a question for Mel?
Trying to think. 60 hours of entertainment. Really?
60 continuous hours of entertainment.
Now, do you think there's going to be people there that are going to stay for the entire 6 hours, or is it like what was it again? Like it was like what, $25?
It's 250 performers.
Yeah, 250 performers.
And
like what production is that? That's Guinness, or is that?
It's for the Guinness.
It's for Guinness.
It's for the Guinness. It's an attempt
I
to
like
break
Blue
the
Moons.
Guinness Book of Records for the longest run variety show.
Guinness Blue Moon.
But
it's a beer.
But it's at
I
the
know.
it's at the Metropolitan Room. That's where they're doing the show. And if you want tickets, you can go to metropolitanroom.com.
Okay.
And you can get your tickets online. $25 for the day pass.
For the day
but they
pass,
told us that there's a place for you to sleep. They're gonna feed us.
Really? Yeah.
Do you know?
They said the customers in the main room can take a nap.
Can take a nap
during an entertainment marathon.
Right.
Take a
It's
nap.
Like really?
Is that going to defeat the purpose?
How's that going to work? Yeah, how's that going to work out?
I was off
was
camera
it-
before, but I
Okay.
mean, do you know any other of the comics that are going to be there, or is it?
I know Lisa Harmon. I don't know if you know
No,
her.
I don't know. But she's going to be there.
She's going to be there.
Funny lady.
Funny lady.
Mhm.
If you guys know Judy Gold.
Yeah, Judy Gold, sure.
Judy Gold is going to be one of the MCs.
New York-based comic, very funny.
She's doing 4 hours. She's very funny. I worked with her before.
Okay, cool.
Actually, I shot a reality show for, I shouldn't even say what show, but my family, we shot a reality show called Playing Mom's Favorites. And Judy Gold was the host of the show. They shot in my house. There was a favorite restaurant we went to. They shot a day in the restaurant. We're waiting to see if we get if they're gonna, you know,
That's cool.
it's gonna make it. But it's cool, and it's my daughter's competing to be mommy's favorite.
Ah.
So they cook a meal for her. Then they made her favorite drink at some athletic place, and I was back there. I was judging it and stuff. It was a whole lot of fun. We shot for 3 days. It was a lot of fun. So my family might be on a reality show, a clean reality show, because it's on, what's that?
The Bible channel.
My personal favorite.
I
don't think I could call the network yet.
All right.
They told us to keep it hushed, but I tell you that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's
And
cool.
John, now you have a film coming out.
Yeah, I did a movie, actually it was shot in 2012, but it's finally coming out, and it's called Bronx Bull. And it is kind of a prequel, sequel, wraparound to Raging Bull, the Jake LaMotta story. Jake actually is in the movie. He was actually in the scene that I did. William Forsythe is playing Jake this time around. Penelope Ann Miller is in it, Tom Sizemore, James Russo, Paul Sorvino, just an incredible cast of really talented people. Natasha Henstridge is in it. It was really a treat to be around the set day in and day out. Robert Davi, who's a Long Island guy, was in it as well. So it was really neat to be around all these guys who are classic, character actors. And I learned so much from just being around them, as well as just great people that they are. But that's finally coming out. That'll be out early next year. And then I'm shooting actually a movie called Sweetwater, which is going to shoot up in Albany. And I actually wrote a film called George Bailey, which Sunset Pictures is going to be shooting early next year as well.
Is it George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life?
It kind of references the concept, but no, it has nothing to do
okay.
with the George Bailey from it, but rather the fact that the underlying thing, the drive of the story is that a bunch of friends who went to college together who were all film and television majors didn't do it for their lives, and they're all about to turn 50. And there's that moment in truth that comes up in everybody's lives. Do you go for it or don't you? And they decide to make their own independent film. So it's a film within a film, and it evokes the magic of at which point do you say that I'm going to go pursue my life? Because if you remember from It's a Wonderful Life, he puts off his whole life. That's what's at the heart of what bothers him the most, until he realizes that putting that off led to a lot of other good. But this kind of asks the question and answers the question, should you go for it? I think you always should. That's what that's about.
Excellent. I'm going to go for it.
Oh, you are.
I'm going for
You're
it.
going for it. You're young yet. You
got
go all the way.
Wait, can we bring up your wife Nancy for a second?
Yes, we can bring up my wife, Nancy.
What did we decide we were going to call it from now on?
The ambassador?
No.
The NWM.
Oh.
Yeah. The MWN.
MWN.
Yeah.
MWN.
My wife.
It's like a wrestling championship.
Do it.
The MW. I can't.
Come on.
It's hard to say. You're
at the MWN, brother.
My wife Nancy.
My wife Nancy. On your house TV. Body slam your grandmother on pay-per-view.
I'm tongue-tied. I sometimes have.
I'm sorry, but that just everybody needed to see that.
My wife.
It had to be done. Yeah.
You are watching my wife Nancy on the Gagootz show.
The MWN network.
When we film the show.
I think we should get a picture of Nancy that should be on the desk at all
No.
times. Just a picture of Nancy just hanging out on the desk.
And Kevin Brogan on the
Yeah,
other
and Kevin Brogan on the other
Is
side.
Nancy here all the time?
No, she's
She's
never
here in spirit.
She's always here in spirit.
Always in spirit.
And she is now our ambassador and our street reporter.
Yeah.
And her and Steven, she doesn't even want me to film the reporting. Steven does, and Nancy does.
Because I'm a good boy.
She does road interviews, and let him suffer for a change.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, that's it. Because
So you share your wife with Steven.
WN. Anyway, they have a couple of. We're going to see some interviews coming up, and this Saturday they have a big one. We can't say who it is, but it's
pretty
big,
good.
big. And that one will probably. I don't know. Nancy does the schedule. She's the ambassador. I'm just her little.
worker bee.
A little
You're
what?
a minion.
Worker bee.
I'm
Boy
minion.
toy.
You're
I'm
a
a
minion.
minion. I'm a lackey. I would not have any of this. Would it not be for my wife Nancy?
Right.
Kill me now, please.
MWN.
MWN.
You're only saying that because she's watching, right?
She's our biggest fan.
Even if they aren't watching,
Always.
they know.
They're
My
always-
wife is my inspiration as well.
Yes.
Because she knows, even if she's not
My
watching.
muse.
They have a network too. I
They do.
swear, the Married Women Network. That if you say something about your wife, she will find it. You could say it in front of a cashier at Kohl's, and my wife will know about it. And is everything your fault? Like the earthquake in Japan was my fault because Nancy was yelling at my son, and then it was that earthquake in Japan. Had your father thrown the garbage out when I told him to? Anyway, this is a fun show. You guys made the time go really fast. I'd love to have both of you back on as soon as
I
possible.
would love to be back anytime.
Love to have you back. And Nicole, would you like
Thank
to?
you guys for coming.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's always nice for somebody of my size who's not into this that long get to hear what you have to give to let me learn.
Thank you.
That came out all backwards. But
Two
anyway.
great, two wonderful guests, and
It
the
was
wonderful
genuine.
Mr. Stephen Perillo.
I've been a good boy.
Good night.
Good
Be
night.
safe driving out there, everyone. It's
Good
terrible
night,
out.
Nancy.
Good
Good night,
night.
Nancy.
Good night, Nancy.
MWN.
When I was a lad, I was a little bit shy. Something came along, caught my eye. When I heard the jazz band strike up, swear I had my mind made up. Now I'm getting older, and everything is in full swing. Now I'm getting bolder, boy, got to do that thing. Used to walk alone with the rest, got something on my own. Oh, baby, you got a little something, darling, you got a little something new, find a little something new. Broke away somehow. That's why I'm swinging it. Got my own thing now.